Good evening, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Together with the Presidential Communications Office, we bring you the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news coverage from the People's Television, IBC, Philippine News Agency, Philippine Information Agency, and the Presidential Broadcast Service. I'm Joe Fernandez of Radyo Pilipinas. Welcome to Balitang Pambansa. Tonight's headlines. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. signs into law the 2025 General Appropriations Act and vetoes more than 194 billion pesos worth of line items inconsistent with his administration's priorities. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. pays tribute to the late former U.S. President and 2002 Nobel Peace Prize awardee Jimmy Carter, whom he described as humanitarian and servant leader. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. spearheads the commemoration of the 128th martyrdom of Dr. Jose Rizal. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. leads the Pamaskong Handog mula sa Pangulo or the gift-giving activity in Manila. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas expects the country's inflation rate to settle within 2.3 to 3.1% this month. The Marcos administration provides almost 149 million pesos worth of aid to families affected by the Kangon eruption. As earlier planned, the President signed the 2025 national budget today, ensuring the Marcos administration's momentum in providing service and programs that will help improve the lives of Filipinos will continue. The leader of the land opted to veto certain line items of the budget and ultimately trim down the overall allotment for government's priority programs and goals. PTV's Manalo has the full report.
Continuing the administration's good starts, that is what President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. assured after he signed the 2025 national budget into law today. From the original 6.352 trillion pesos proposal budget, it was cut by 26 billion pesos to 6.326 trillion pesos from the bicameral conference's versions of the National Expenditure Program or NEPA, submitted nearly 3 weeks ago on December 11. The education sector still receives the biggest slice of the 2025 budget with 1.053 trillion pesos, followed by the Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH with 1.034 trillion pesos. The health sector, DSWD, DILG, Department of Agriculture, DOTR, Judiciary, DOLE, and Department of Justice are also priorities in the 2025 national budget. In his speech, President Marcos Jr. confirmed the cuts in the original national budget amount after vetoing 194 billion pesos in line items not in line with the administration's agenda for next year. Vetoed programs include some line items of the DPWH and unprogrammed funds that reach 300%. Meanwhile, the President has decided to implement under conditional implementation the Ayuda sa Kapuskita program or AKAP of the DSWD. It was not junk or slashed to ensure the program's benefits are put to good use by its target demographic, minimum earners and our poor citizens, but it is necessary to ensure also that the funds are used properly and correctly.
To ensure that government assistance is not merely a provisional solution to a persistent issue, we are compelled to subject the implementation of the Ayuda sa Kapus ng Kita program or AKAP to the convergence efforts of the DSWD, DOLE, and NEDA. This way, we ensure that its implementation will be strategic, leading to the long-term improvement of the lives of qualified beneficiaries while guarding against misuse and duplication and fragmented benefits.
In retrospect, the President's signing of the 2025 national budget was delayed by 10 days from its original schedule. The President had to review and study the proposed bill carefully before signing it into law. President Marcos Jr. himself led the review of the proposed 2025 national budget together with some heads of the concerned agencies.
Sa sambayan ng Pilipino, nakikinig po kami sa inyo. Salamat po sa inyong pagkilatis sa ating national budget at sa pagpuna sa kaibahan ng isinumite ng Kongreso sa President's proposed budget. Nakakaasa naman po kayo sa budget na ito. Ipapagpatuloy at papalawigin pa natin ang ating serbisyo sa inyo alinsunod sa ating Philippine Development Plan ng 2023 to 2028.
The 2025 national budget will focus on the 8-point socio-economic agenda of the President, aiming to raise the Philippines from the effects of the pandemic, continuous economic growth, and creating thousands of jobs and opportunities for our citizens. From PTV Manila, Manalo, Balitang Pambansa.
The President's team of technocrats, economic managers, and budget review group defended the 2025 General Appropriations Act the President inked today, saying it complies with provisions of the Constitution that affords the education sector the largest slice of the budget pie, followed by infra. PTV's Joshua Garcia tells us more.
Along with the signing by President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. of the over 6 trillion peso national budget for the next year, more than 194 billion pesos worth of projects or line items have been vetoed as they were considered not aligned with the government's priorities. This was commended by the Department of Budget and Management. In a press briefing held at Malacanang, the DBM stated the education sector remains a top priority, followed by infrastructure and others.
1.053 trillion. Well, the DPWH po is 1.034 trillion po. Yan po. So, nauna na po ang education.
DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan explained they consider the deferred projects that do not support the socio-economic agenda of the current administration and still require further study.
Marami kasi yung mga local projects actually that are not ready for implementation, and it will take us some time anyway to make sure na may implement namin kaagad. So these are the things na nakita namin that I think we can postpone it for the time being.
According to DBM, projects such as Ayuda sa Kapos ang Kita program or AKAP will remain as is. But before funds are released, standards and guidelines must first be established in coordination with the DSWD, DOLE, and NEDA to ensure continued assistance to those who truly need help. Meanwhile, in the same meeting, Executive Secretary Lucas Belsamin also assured the 2025 budget complies with the provisions of the Constitution.
Nais ko pong sabihin sa inyong lahat na hindi po magkakaroon ng ganong pagkakataon na unconstitutional ang budget. This is the interplay between the Congress and the executive branch.
To ensure strict adherence to legal standards, 12 special provisions are subject to conditional implementation. Among them are programs of the DSWD, such as AKAP and Payapa at Masaganang Pamayanan o Pamana program. Meanwhile, the government's economic team is optimistic about the year 2025. According to NEDA, the 2025 national budget will focus on improving the lives of Filipinos. It will also bolster the agricultural sector, renewable energy, and digitalization efforts in the country.
Ganda rin naging kalakaran itong fourth quarter natin at malakas po ang aming ang confidence that we will hit our growth targets. So ang growth target po natin is between 6 to 7%. So far po mula nung quarter 1 hanggang quarter 3 nasa 5.8% ang ating growth rate. So tingin naman po namin na tatamaan natin yung target na yun.
On the part of the Department of Finance, it also ensured that every centavo of the signed budget will be allocated to the right programs and projects for the nation. Finance Secretary Ralph Recto sees a robust Philippine economy next year following the signing of the 2025 national budget. From PTV Manila, Joshua Garcia for Balitang Pambansa.
Senate President Francis Escudero praised the signing of the 2025 General Appropriations Act, described as a product of collaborative effort involving public input and several sectors. He highlighted the thorough process avoided a reenacted budget and reflects a strong democracy with active checks and balances. The Senate leader emphasized unity and preparation to address challenges in the coming year, noting the process involved compromises to balance limited resources with the country's many needs. Meanwhile, House Appropriations Committee Chair Elizalde Co praised President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. for signing the 2025 budget, emphasizing its timely approval to avoid a reenacted budget. The budget prioritizes key sectors including education, public works, health, and agriculture. Representative Co also acknowledged the President's veto of 194 billion pesos in proposed spending and affirmed Congress' commitment to ensuring efficient use of public funds. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. remembers the late former U.S. President Jimmy Carter, who who died on December 29. He was 100 years old, the Philippine news agency reported. The former U.S. president was known for his dedication to humanitarian causes and promoting peace, justice, and human rights. The leader of the land, in a post on social media, described Carter as a humanitarian and servant leader who practiced what he preached. On the occasion of the 128th year of his martyrdom, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., in solemn reverence for the country's national hero, hailed Dr. Jose P. Rizal, whose patriotism was beyond peer, forever committed to the truth, and with a staunch advocacy for education for all Filipinos. PTV's Manalo reports.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. spearheaded the flag-raising and wreath-laying ceremony at the Rizal Monument in Luneta Park today. This in commemoration of the 128th anniversary of Dr. Jose Rizal's martyrdom. This year's commemoration has the theme, Rizal sa Bagong Pilipinas, Buhay at Aral Aming Nilandas. In his message, the President remembered the legacies of Dr. Jose Rizal, and his vision will remain alive to the next generations. The President also encouraged the Filipinos to go back to history and be proud of all that Rizal valued. This includes the spirit of nationalism, dedication to the truth, and continuous effort for the welfare of our country. Everyone should also have the courage to be a catalyst of change and hold the belief that they can contribute to the country's interest and improvement. Finally, the Chief Executive also called for unity to achieve a brighter and stronger tomorrow. From PTV Manila, BN Manalo, Balitang Pambansa.
In observance of the day's special celebration, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. decided to spread more Christmas cheer by distributing more in-kind assistance to some 2,000 beneficiaries, capping it off with live musical entertainment as added treat. The full story from PTV's Vel Custodio.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. led the pamaskong handog from the Office of the President alongside with the Department of Social Welfare and Development. Around 2,000 beneficiaries received assistance in the program at the Rizal Park Open Air Auditorium in Manila during the celebration of Rizal Day. Participants showcased performances they prepared for the President. Ilocos Norte 1st District Representative Sandro Marcos also graced the year-end activity. Former First Lady Imelda Marcos also sent her greetings and message to the Marcos family supporters.
Lagi po namin kayo inaalala. Lagi po kayo nasa isip namin at hindi lamang sa isip namin kundi sa puso namin. Maraming salamat sa inyong hindi pagkakakalimot at hindi inyong pagsasawa ng pagmamahal at pagsusuporta sa pamilyang Marcos para sa kagandahan, para pagpaganda ng buong Pilipinas. Maraming salamat sa inyo.
Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police deployed personnel around Luneta. The Manila Police District sent their District Reserve and Standby Support Force for a safer year-end activity with the President. From PTV, Vel Custodio, Balitang Pambansa.
The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas projects the country's inflation for December to settle within the 2.3% to 3.1% range with a full-year average of 3.2%. BSP also expects the full-year average inflation to be within the government's target of 2 to 4% for 2024. Meanwhile, the Development Budget Coordination Committee, or DBCC, in consultation with the BSP, retained a 2 to 4% inflation target for 2025 to 2026, as well as for 2027 and 2028. By doing so, the central bank hopes to solidify its forward-looking approach to monetary policy formation. The government's non-tax revenues has reached 555.30 billion pesos as of the end of November, which has a 45.6% improvement from last year. According to Philippine News Agency's report, the Department of Finance says this latest development allows the Marcos administration to fund more key programs, especially those that will improve the lives of Filipinos. The DOF also welcomed the news of the record high collection of non-tax revenues. Secretary Ralph Recto said the nation indeed needs more funds to meet the growing needs of the Filipinos because aside from actual tax collection, financial streams like non-tax revenue sources help the country come up with more revenues that ultimately allow it to deliver more and better services in various areas of concern like healthcare and education, just to name some. Coming right up. Government aid to Canlaon hit families reaches almost 149 million pesos. Taban City residents buy BBM rice for only 29 pesos per kilo. These and more when Balitang Pambansa returns.
Tulad ng matyagang pagtatanim at paghihintay sa pagsibol mula sa isang maliit na binhi, ganoon din nagsimula ang isang organisasyon sa Zamboanga, Sibugay. Si Larry Valenciano ay ang chairman ng Bato Farmers Cooperative sa CI Zamboanga, Sibugay. Ikinuwento niya kung paano nagsimula ang kanilang organisasyon noong 1991 bilang isang farmers association at naging isang kooperatiba noong 1994 na may 26 na mga miyembro.
Sa una, nagsugod may as a farmers association, mainly sa among mga members was to invest in rice industry. And when we discovered that the calamansi industry is more profitable than rice, then we shift to the calamansi industry.
Mula sa kanilang simpleng pagsisimula sa pagtatanim ng palay at kalamansi, pinalawak na nila ang kanilang saklaw sa ibang mga produkto. Isa sila sa mga organisasyong nakatanggap ng iba't ibang farm machineries and equipment noong ika-24 ng Mayo. Sa isang engrandeng okasyon ng mga titulo ng lupa at makinarya na pinangunahan mismo ni Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr.
Daghang salamat sa among pinakamalangga nga sekretary sa Department of Agrarian Reform, sa aming mahal na Pangulo, Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. Ito ang mga pag-unlad ng ating mga magsasaka dito sa Sibugay.
Sa sambayan ng Pilipino, nakikinig po kami sa inyo. Salamat po sa inyong pagkilatis sa ating national budget at sa pagpuna sa kaibahan ng isinumite ng Kongreso sa President's proposed budget. Kaya naman po, kahit Pasko, kaming lahat ay nagtrabaho upang pag-aralan ito. Ito po ang ipapasang General Appropriation Act ngayon. Kasama na ang mga veto ay resulta ng aming pagdinig sa inyong tugon.
By midnight on New Year's Day, patients will check in as victims of the New Year's Eve and day revelry. Injuries from close-to-body blasts, lacerated limbs or extremities, missing digits, among whom sadly are passive users, and will be checking in at the East Avenue Medical Center. PTV's Rod Lagusad has more.
East Avenue Medical Center is ready for the New Year's Day revelry. For this year, the new building of the hospital is designated as the area for receiving fireworks-related injuries. According to Dr. John Polner, spokesperson of East Avenue Medical Center, the medical tools and supplies are all prepped and set.
Pag may dumating na pasyente dito, una silang pupunta dun sa aming triage area. Dun sa triage area, may assigned doon na doktor na titingnan doon sa mga kaso ng mga pasyente, be it related sa fireworks-related injuries or mga surgical or medical condition. Tapos, i-determine ng doktor na yon saan mapupunta yung mga pasyente.
The hospital is on code-wide alert, which means personnel are on standby around the area. And if additional manpower is needed, they can easily get to the hospital. At the East Avenue Medical Center, as of 6 a.m. of December 30, there are 12 recorded fireworks-related injuries. Among the cases are injuries from Boga, Whistlebang, 5-Star, and unidentified firecrackers. According to NER, most of the victims are passive users, meaning they weren't directly playing with and setting off the fireworks. 2 of them are currently admitted at East Avenue Medical Center, while the remaining 10 have already been sent home.
For the whole monitoring period of Iwas Paputok last year, we had a total of, East Avenue Medical Center has a total of 24 cases. So ngayon na December 30 pa lang, nakaka-12 na kami, so kalahati na po. And ayaw naman sana namin mangyari, pero we are, for worst case scenario, we are anticipating more patients kasi as the New Year approaches.
Meanwhile, according to data from the Department of Health, as of 6 a.m. on December 30, there have been 163 reported fireworks-related injuries. From this figure, 21 is the new cases today. This is 44% higher compared to the same day last year. The hospital is also ready to respond to any cases of stray bullets. Aside from fireworks-related injuries, the Department of Health is also monitoring cases of stroke, heart attack, asthma, food-related illnesses, and alcohol-related trauma. From PTV Manila, Rod Lagusad, Balitang Pambansa.
The Department of Trade and Industry urges the public to prioritize safety during New Year celebration by purchasing certified fireworks. DTI Secretary Cristina Roque emphasized buying certified products can reduce the risk of accidents and injuries. The DTI, through the Bureau of Philippine Standards, has issued a list of certified fireworks on its website to help consumers make informed decisions. She also encouraged the public to report any violations via the DTI Consumer Care Hotline or email. Both national government and local government units have doled out nearly 149 million pesos in relief and financial assistance to families hit hard by the December eruption of Mount Kanlaon, according to the NDRRMC. In a report by the Philippine News Agency, the NDRRMC said Western Visayas received 45.72 million pesos in assistance, while Central Visayas took 103.24 million pesos. The aid included food packs, sleeping and hygiene kits, and cash assistance. The Disaster Response Agency claims families affected by the Kanlaon's unrest and rumblings totaled a little over 12,000 or 46,260 individuals in 26 communities in Western and Central Visayas. Despite Mount Kanlaon's alert level 3 status, Kanlaon City's Tribu Kanlaon dancers continue to prepare for their January performance in Hong Kong, where they will represent the Philippines in the international stage. Rehearsals face challenges due to safety concerns, including aftershocks and parental hesitations, but the group remains determined to showcase their talent. Local authorities continue to monitor the volcano's activity to ensure the dancers' safety as they finalize their preparations. Residents of Taban City receive a very welcome aid in the form of very affordable rice from an initiative by the National Irrigation Administration, Region 8. Philippine Information Agency Eastern Visayas Sol Alarcon has the details.
Before ringing in the new year, Tacloban City residents received much-needed relief as 1,500 bags of 10-kilo BBM rice were sold at an affordable price of just 29 pesos per kilo. This initiative, spearheaded by the National Irrigation Administration of NIA Region 8, is part of the Kadiwa ng Pangulo program focusing on supporting vulnerable sectors including 4Ps beneficiaries, senior citizens, and PWDs. Elma Body, a 4Ps beneficiary from Barangay 83-A, Borayan, San Jose, Tacloban City, expressed her gratitude for the program and its positive impact on her family.
Ang masasabi ko po sa ating mahal na Presidente, malaking tulong na po ito para sa amin dahil mura na. Tapos para sa aming mga 4Ps, malaking tulong po ito. Lalo na ngayong magbabagong taon. Salamat po, President Bongbong Marcos.
A senior citizen, Villa Arce, shared similar appreciation, highlighting the affordability of the BBM rice.
Maraming salamat, President. Maraming salamat. Nakabili kami ng anang mura.
According to Sarah Jean Francisco, Information Officer of NIA Region 8, the rice was sourced directly from farmers under the Farmers and Irrigators Association of Batu Irrigation System in Abuyog and Javier towns in Leyte. These farmers are also beneficiaries in the Farming Support Services Program under the Marcos administration.
Priority po natin ang mga senior citizens, solo parents, PWDs, and the 4Ps na makabili nito. Kung may sobra po tayo, pwede pong makabili yung mga walk-in.
From the Philippine Information Agency, Eastern Visayas, Sol Alarcon, Balitang Pambansa.
The Bureau of Immigration, or BI, has encouraged foreign POGO workers to comply with the government order to leave the country by December 31, and that is tomorrow. Failure to meet the deadline will result in blacklisting and deportation. There will be no extension of the deadline in accordance with Executive Order number 74, which bans all POGO operations in the country. The Land Bank of the Philippines confirmed its financial stability and compliance with Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas regulations after downloading 50 billion pesos to the Maharlika Investment Fund, the Philippine News Agency reports. The state-run bank said it has consistently met and even surpassed the capital adequacy ratio, hitting the 16.24% level as of November. This is well above the BSP's 10% requirement. Land Bank also contributed a record high 32.12 billion pesos in cash dividends to the national government, highlighting its continued support for agriculture and rural development. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Corrections, or Bucor, released over 1,000 persons deprived of liberty, or PDLs, from November to December, bringing the total for 2024 to more than 7,000. Among those freed have completed their sentences, were granted parole, or acquitted. Bucor Director General Gregorio Catapang clarified PDLs covered by the Good Conduct Time Allowance, or DCTA law, will be released starting next year, following new procedural guidelines. The releases are part of Bucor's ongoing efforts to reduce the prison population while ensuring compliance with legal procedures. And that concludes a rundown of the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news and information from all across the nation. This is your trusted news source, always ready to inform and serve the Filipino people. Catch Balitang Pambansa again tomorrow at 7 a.m., 12 noon, 6 p.m., and 9:30 p.m. for more updates and developments. From Radyo Pilipinas, I'm Joe Fernandez, and this is Balitang Pambansa.